working now. We've had something going a bit wild there. We're just in the roastery today, and right now I'm just doing a bit of our organic blend. Rushing away. Can anyone hear us there? Just give us a thumbs up, thumbs down.
I haven't got anyone.
Huh?
I haven't got anyone yet.
No one on there? Hello? Anyone there? We're just...
Huh? They'll start telling us if we're not.
Okay. What's that one? Peru organic. Oh. Just in the roastery. Doing a bit of an organic blend here. There you go. All right, we've got some Colombian coming on as well. We're about to do our single origin of the month. That's why we're getting everything ready here. This is what it's like to be in a roastery. If you haven't ever had to keep up with the production, it gets a bit full on sometimes. So I'm just getting a bit of a recipe here for our organic, which will be coming up next after our Ethiopian of the month, the single origin that we got. So this is the only thing we pre-blend here, is our organic, just because it's a lower volume of our business. There you go, 18.5, beautiful. Everything else we do single origin or single roast per roast. Oh, I'm puffed. All right, so we're going to be roasting our Ethiopian here, which is next month's single origin. The region is the Gedio, and the producer is the Worka Sakaro 1. So it's a really interesting fermentation process. So I'm just going to start this roast now. So we start our, that's our decaf. Got a little sample. Right, so we're going to sample that in just a second. I'll show you what we do with that. But we're going to start this profile. We're dropping in at 160 degrees. And as soon as this clicks, there you go. We charge, or we sync the laptop to the IMF roaster. So right now, these two lines are matching. You can see the red is the heat, and the blue is what's happening with the bean temp. So we charge them, we sync the two together, the data, and it'll start to drop. This is basically the beans taking up all the heat out of the roaster. A couple of beans get left up there. And now we're sucking up our next batch, which is our organic. So we've got to watch this and see how the heat is being taken up by the beans. It's an anaerobic fermented product. So what does that mean? Well, basically, when you take a cherry off the tree, you've got to take the flesh off, and then you have to process it. And usually there's a mucilage, and you can put a bacteria on there and get rid of that essentially and wash it off in washing stations. If you don't have water supply where your green is, you will find that you would then just doing a natural process, so that the cherry might just sit and go like a raisin, and then you take it off. So that's washed and natural. Quick summary there. But if you're going to do a carbonic maceration, basically what they're doing is they're getting that mucilage pulp bean, putting it into a stainless steel vat, and it's going to ferment. Now that's going to ferment from anywhere between 5 and 10 days. This one particularly was 10 days, and that's mainly because of temperature. So if you've got a bean, I forgot to read up a profile here. Sorry, 1 second. Load the background of that to roast to. There we go. That's better. So if you've got a bean in there which is a bit hotter, it will ferment quicker. If it's cooler, you'll need a bit more time. So we're looking, it never goes over 25 degrees when they're fermenting that coffee, and this one went out to 10 days. And that fermentation, basically, because there's no oxygen there, it's just impregnating all of those flavours into the bean, and that's why you've got that really yellowing colour that I showed you before. It doesn't have that light pale green colour that we are normally used to. Now I'm just going to back off a fair bit of heat here because it's going a bit wild. There we go. So we've got our turning point. Turning point was 120, which is pretty high for this smaller roast. And we want to start to keep it a bit shorter. I'm going to go for about a 5-minute 165 degree temp here. And I might be a little bit cheeky here. Let's go back to something like July. Let's see if I can get a shorter profile of that. Last month's single, little wander. Never had to roast and be on camera before. This is a little bit daunting, I'll be honest. I don't normally have to think this much when roasting. There we go. That's better. That's a much better profile. So we're going for a really short profile. Oh, that's a bit weird actually. No, that's lost its memory. It's got the first part, which is good. Trying to load up a good background, but this is a bit wild. Look at that, the whole roast profile's missing. Woo! I have to make a bit of a freestyle. So we'll go back to the week before that one. Go back to... Oh, you can't hear us. Sorry. Alright, so we're in the roastery here. If you just joined us, we're just roasting this single origin of the month. That's not the right profile to use either. We're just trying to get a good background here from a roast which would have been similar to a 15 kilo profile. Just hunting to find, there we go, there's a 25, something a little bit slower and lower, that's better. So we're finding our single origins need to be a lot quicker. You can see here, this is the big variation in natural products that are going on there. Look at that. You've got some that have processed and some that haven't processed. So that's pretty funky. There's definitely a silver skin that's over the top of that as well. The Worka Sakaro, I should say, as I said before, is that anaerobic fermented Ethiopian Yirgacheffe grade 1. So it's a beautiful coffee. It's an heirloom varietal. It's been around for obviously a very long time, and it's super high altitude. It's got an altitude of up to 2,100 metres above sea level, so that's quite high. All right, so we're looking for trying to bring out some real nice flavours. So red wine, mint, strawberry, some red currants, and a bit of dark chocolate is what we've been profiled on this coffee already. So that profile comes from the actual farm. They give us a bit of an idea. We taste it and see if we can get close to it in our little bullet over here. So we've already roasted a few roasts on that one to profile it before we take it across to the big one. We're looking at things like moisture readings and density as well, which is what we use here, the light tells. So we pre-assess a coffee before we roast it to see how it's going to handle heat. And then once we've roasted it, we do the back end of it. So this is a decaf here. And I'm going to do the same as well. We'll check that moisture and density on that one. So we pop it in, it's a full scoop here. Empty the bucket. That single's ticking along beautiful right there actually. So our decaf here, we drop it on in. Hit the button, and this is going to give us our moisture and our density of that actual coffee. There you go. So we've got a 1.6 moisture content with a 430 density. So we track every single roast there every week to make sure that we're getting the right roast or consistency in those roasts. Couple beans left. Oh. Right, decaf on that base. 29th of the 7th today. 29th of the 7th, there we go, that's decaf done. So coming back over to the roaster. to look at our profile here. So we are looking for a much shorter roast than we usually would do. You can see here we've gone past the yellowing stage, which is 165 degrees, kept that really short on this roast. So we're now looking at the caramelization. Look at that, there you go, it's starting to smoothen out a little bit on that bean. And we're going to start to, the heat's going to start to take some of the acidity out or get rid of those bad acids, and we're going to start to caramelize the sugars there. Now, I want to get a little bit more heat into this. I think it could do a little bit faster on the roast as we come up into our first crack here. So the first crack's going to be somewhere around 198 degrees probably. We'll see where that one's going to be. On a smaller roast like this, it does behave very differently in a roaster. There's a lot more air space in here, so we tend to find the heat that we can apply to it can basically be very reactive and a lot quicker. So we've got a rate of rise at the moment of 9.4 ticking along, 9.8. So I'm just increasing a little bit there. I want to get a bit quicker to our first crack point, and you can see here we had a reducing heat. I'm just bringing it back up with a bit of extra heat there. I don't want it to go too long and slow. I want to keep it a reasonably shorter roast. But once we get past first crack, then we look at the development time. And that development time is how long it actually takes to be a percentage of the whole roast, and it's really about the darkness level of that bean. So the darker, oily kind of beans, you might hit 30%, 40%. Most of our blends are only at 25 max on our fixed blend, 22.5 on Champion, and our singles were usually about 14%. If you're going for a filter, you might be around between 9 and 11%. So there's definitely a lot of differences there. So just looking to see how that's coming up. Oh, it's got a really, really distinct smell there actually. Here, smell-o-vision. Can you smell it? That's it's not toast, it's like toast with like a marmalade on it. But white toast. Not burnt. Perfectly cooked. Yeah, with a marmalade jam. Oh, that is so good. So a lot of people say when they come past the roastery it smells like toast cooking away. You're going to be able to hear this a little bit better. I'm going to be focusing on the first crack right now. Just putting a bit of a steady heat. Now I've got 4.2 rate of rise. I'm just going to take it really nice and slow all the way through this first crack. We don't want to do anything too crazy. We want to get it right, nice and steady. That's saying it's pretty much first crack. Not quite there, being a lower roast. So we have a set number on here. It's really an alarm just to let us to know, hey, you're up at first crack. Make sure you come back to the roaster if you're packing beans or doing something. There we go. So we're just at the start of the crack. Actually, that's worked out really well. 10:54, we've got our first crack there. Now we're just looking to take it out to get the colour development into there. 204. This is where you've really got to concentrate. Nice steady rate of rises here. I really want to try and bring that down a little bit. 264. Now sampling actually lets a lot of cold air in, so it will bring the temp down naturally. So we're trying to really watch the bean, and we're just going to keep our eye on it, get it nice and low and slow, as slow as we can. Trying to maintain the outside surface of that bean and the inside of that bean. We don't want one to be crazy cooked on the outside or really light on the inside. So my sampling there took a bit of heat out. This is the other thing you've got to be careful, because it's an air forced oven. It just started to slow down a little bit there. So popping the sampler back in, you can see that the heat comes back up. It's always a bit of a game. I reckon that's it. Yeah, okay. So you can get some really nice sweet fruit flavors coming through in that. So that's going to be great. Can't wait to taste that. It's going to cool down rapidly now. Oh, that smells good. It smells really good. All right, so this is going to go through a destoning process, which the decaf on this side already has. I'll just...
Do you know what the ROR colour is on the chart? What's the
ROR colour, rate of rise colour, on the chart there. Oh, okay, I'll come back and show them in 1 sec. I've just got to... This is our finished decaf product that's been destoned. So we've talked about that before, but a lot of people don't have destoners, and you end up with a lot of rubbish in your grinder. So that's our finished decaf product there. Beautiful sort of modelly colour. I like to try and go for a mocha colour, not oily, not wet, not super dark. That's just going to kill it. So the colours here are the 3 segments of the roast. So your green is your drying, your yellow is your Maillard, and the browning up here is your development. So when we look at it, you can see that the first half in the time here, we've got 5:33 of drying, we've got 5 minutes 21 of Maillard, and we've got 1 minute 48 of actual development. So they're the 3 different segments that we focus on. I need to save that one. And that will, that's what we measure when we're looking to keep coffee consistent. Now this is our sour of the month. It was a 18 kilo roast, and it is an Ethiopian Worka grade 1. There you go. So we'll roast that every single week for the whole month. That's going to go out to everybody who's on our subscriptions or ordered over the weekend, that particular product. So it's great being on a coffee subscription, especially a single, because we don't change the price. We only ever do that when you're buying it directly as a bean, not on a subscription. So if we go to a really crazy coffee, you're going to get it at that set price. So something like this, the grade 1 Yirgacheffe's fantastic value on a subscription, because you're saving on freight if you're buying a kilo, and you're also saving 10% off the bean. So, you know, take the good, and we just keep pushing it up as much as we can on those single offerings. What else? Yeah, give us a thumbs up, give us a comment if you enjoyed the live. Bit hard there with the noise, I do apologise. If you did just join us, go back and have a look. We've basically gone through the roasting of our single origin here for the month, which is the Ethiopian Yirgacheffe grade 1. It's an anaerobic carbonic macerated, I should say, carbonic maceration process. And it's a very high altitude coffee. The Worka Sakaro station is where that's from. Just to show you again what it looked like, it's super funky, really different kind of colour coffee here. See that? That's because of that processing in a steel vat for up to 10 days, just getting all of the no oxygen and a fermentation on top of that. If we were to compare that with a Guatemalan here, let's say, you can see that is green. Okay, so huge differences there. This is a washed green coffee. So yeah, that funky flavour is going to come through in that coffee. We only do that in our single origins. Yeah, if you've got any questions, I don't know, chuck one down. If not, thanks very much for watching us. Really do appreciate it. Hope that gave you an insight to what's happening here when we roast. A little bit hectic sometimes. But yeah, cheers. Thanks for joining in, guys. Appreciate it.
Stay down, look at the camera.
Oh, yeah.